Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, all schools have been closed for a long time. That's why your studies are greatly hampered and you cannot attend your classes. And we are undergoing a critical situation. Considering the situation, I have made up my mind to take some classes. Today, I am going to concentrate on simple, complex and compound. You know, sentences are classified in two ways. At first, we'll come to know about the classification of sentences according to meaning. Sentences can be classified in 5 categories according to meaning or functions. They are assertive sentence, interrogative sentence, imperative sentence, optative sentence, and exclamatory sentence. Already you have got some idea about these 5 kinds of sentences in your previous classes. Sentences are also classified in 3 ways according to structure. They are simple, complex, and compound. That means sentences, according to structure, sentences are of 3 types. At first, we'll come to know about the features or characteristic of these 3 types of sentences. The features of simple sentence. A simple sentence contains one subject, one finite verb, and simple sentence does not contain any conjunction. We does not find any conjunction in simple sentence, so we can write no conjunction. One subject, one finite verb means there is a clause in simple sentence. For example, he went to Dhaka to meet his uncle. You should not write he went to Dhaka to meet with his uncle, because whenever you will write meet with, it has different meaning. Suppose I met with an accident yesterday, okay? So in that case, you can write meet his uncle, okay? So in this sentence, there is one subject, one finite verb, and there is no conjunction here. Meet is also a verb, but this is not finite verb. This is non-finite verb. Okay, these are the characteristics of a simple sentence. Now we will come to know about the features of complex sentence. In a complex sentence, we find at least 2 subjects, okay? At least 2 subjects, at least 2 finite verbs, one principal clause, and one or more subordinate clauses, clause or clauses, at least a conjunction, for example, he went to Dhaka so that he could meet his uncle. So one principal clause. He went to Dhaka. This is a principal clause. Okay. So that he could meet his uncle. This is subordinate clause. Okay. So there is, in this sentence we find there is a principal clause and a subordinate clause, and so that is a conjunction here. So this sentence contains all the features of a complex sentence. That's why it is the example of a complex sentence. Principal clause has also different names. Independent clause, main clause. Subordinate clause has also another name, and we call it actually independent clause. Sorry, dependent clause. Subordinate clause has also a different name, and we call it dependent clause. Okay, these are the features of complex sentence. Now we will come to know about the features of compound sentence. A compound sentence contains also at least two subjects. At least two finite verbs, two or more independent clauses. At least one conjunction, like and, but, or. Compound sentence mostly in compound sentence and, but, or are mostly used as conjunction, but in complex sentence we find different conjunctions like as, since, because, though, although, who, which, what, that, unless, lest, so that, so dot that. We find these kinds of conjunctions in complex sentence. For example, the example of compound sentence is, I am going to give you an example of compound sentence. He wanted to meet his uncle and so he went to Dhaka. He wanted to meet his uncle. This is principal clause or independent clause. He went to Dhaka. It is also principal clause or independent clause. And here is also important to note that both clauses has same subjects. If we find same subject or same verbs in compound sentence, we need not repeat it in the next clause. Okay, these are the features of compound sentence. Dear students, remember that a compound sentence, we find the conjunctions of compound sentence at the middle of the sentence, but we find the conjunctions of complex sentence both in the middle of the sentence or at the beginning of the sentences. Sometimes we find the conjunction of a complex sentence at the beginning of sentence, and sometimes we find the conjunction of a sentence at the middle of the sentence. And there are also some basic rules that you have to know. I am going to tell you. Please note it at your or write down these points at your in your notebook. Compound sentence always maintains sequence. Suppose the teacher takes preparation and goes to class. If you say the teacher goes to class and takes preparation, it will not be correct. So you have to write the clause of a sentence sequentially. Okay? And another thing is, at the time of changing simple sentence into complex or compound, you have to remember that if the first clause of the sentence is present, the second clause of complex or compound sentence will also be present or future. But if the first clause of a sentence is past, the second clause will also be past tense. Okay, these are the basic rules of changing simple to complex sentence or complex to compound or compound to complex, vice versa. Now we will know how to change the sentences. How to change the sentences. We will come to know about these things actually. If we find though or although in a complex sentence, we will use but in compound sentence, and in spite of or despite can be used in simple sentence. We'll change the sentence at a time. We'll change the three sentences at a time. Okay, dear students, look at the whiteboard. And notice how I change the sentence into change this complex sentence into compound sentence. Although he behaved rough. He was not punished. Compound sentence. As it is the conjunction of compound sentence, so always it is used at the middle of the sentence. So the answer will be he behaved rough, but he was not punished. And if I write the simple sentence of this sentence, in spite of is used at the beginning of the sentence, in spite of is a preposition. After preposition we have to use the possessive form of the subject, he is. The after possessive form we have to place the present participle form of behaved. So the present participle of behave is behaving. In spite of his behaving rough, he was not punished. Okay, in this way you can practice at home. The more you practice at home, the more you will learn. Okay, and dear students, so keep practicing at home and try to learn this item. So and that's all today. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.